Hello everyone, this is Flammy, and we're back for another base review video. So I've got a bunch of your bases here. Unfortunately, I've got a few too many of them. So we're doing Town Hall level 7 today, and 39 of you submitted applications for this Town Hall, and it wasn't even the most requested Town Hall level. So we'll be getting to that later. But I had to narrow this down a little bit, so I first filtered out everyone who had said no, they weren't subscribed to me. Why would you submit an application if you're not subscribed to me for a subscriber base review video? Really, guys? So if you're not subscribed to me, and then next I filtered out people who said they weren't on my Facebook, and I'm sure a few of you are lying, but you know what? Go like my Facebook because it's awesome. Not really, it just has updates and stuff. So we're gonna go pull up the first guy's base right here. So you guys ready? Let's go. Okay, here we are at Reverend Shu's base. I'm just picking these randomly throughout the whole list of applications. So, he does have a note here for us. It is, it's a very recent redesign, and I tried to follow your general tips as best as I could. I would really like to know how to better integrate my third mortar. I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with at Town Hall 7. So by your third mortar, I know you're meaning this mortar up here on the top left. And that's a very good point. Let's see, how would I do that? Well, I would probably just not make my inner thing just square. So you have a very, very symmetrical base right now. So you have lots of lines of symmetry. There's like one that's like, I'm going to use the mouse again, guys. One that cuts around this way, and then there's one that cuts through this way. And all these things are like the same size. And I mean, it looks very good to look at, but I would just sort of throw that out the window. And I would make this inner thing sort of lumpy. So I would maybe move this mortar down, move this down, bring in the wall a little bit, because you've got that extra space if you move the mortar down. Move the wizard tower down, bring in the wall a little bit, move this mortar down, move this down, just tighten everything up, and then probably put the other mortar over here or something. The wizard tower would go down one, and then it'd pop out a little bit. But you'd lose all your symmetry, but I think you just throw that symmetry away. What should you put over here? I would put either the clan castle or the air defense. Do you have another air defense? Yeah, you should really work on getting that air defense up. I don't see... Oh, there's another one up there. Well, yeah, both of these are way too exposed and way too low level. Work on upgrading those. Beyond that, I would like to see some of these holes tightened up, like this one in here. You've got the same symmetrical hole all around. Maybe you have bombs in there. You probably do have bombs in there, but it doesn't really do much. Just tighten it up, really. Also, another really good benefit of this is you could very easily combine these compartments. So this cannon and this mine right here, they could be in their own little compartment. Just move this archer tower over this way a little bit, and then just swap the wall over this way, and then you got two in this compartment and two in this compartment, and just like that, you're much better protected against giants because the archer tower and the cannon are in different compartments. I do like how you have everything tucked against the wall. There's obviously a very good job with that. I like how your wall upgrading strategy is doing all the corners and joints first. That's good as well. What level wizards are these? 2 and 2? Yeah, work on that. I know it's expensive. Mortar, also I feel like you're falling a little bit behind. 4 of each, level 4 on each would be nice. But of course, keep upgrading the new one as well. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this base, guys, so let's move on to the next one. Good job, Reverend Shu. Okay, guys, here we are with Asian Salamander. So he does have a message. He says he was in the process of upgrading to Town Hall 8 as he submitted this review, but he would like to be reviewed anyways because he won't be changing much. And I see that. You haven't changed much, like you don't have a lot of the new stuff yet. I assume you've got a Tesla. You might be building a Tesla in here somewhere. You now have 3 Teslas unlocked. You only probably would have had 1 completed, though. So I'm going to assume that's right in here somewhere. Let's look around, though. I do like this extra wall down here. Keeps everything away from the mortar and these defenses, and at the same time, as soon as the units break through one of these walls, all the other units will flow through that wall. And then the mortar will hit them all, hopefully. Maybe a few too many buttress walls. You probably don't need quite so many down here, though, because it's not going to be such a high priority target. Yeah, this would be a good use for a couple of those walls. Take them and like put them in this gap, just to split up this side and from this side. Actually, and probably move that gap over to the middle right here. One side of the wizard tower, either way. At the same sense, I would probably remove the walls from this, from these barracks. They actually probably hurt this wizard tower, just because, with this many walls, the wizard towers, the guys are just going to funnel around and attack something else, like this army camp over here on the left, and the wizard tower is not going to be able to hit them. versus if you had maybe a partial wall in here that would funnel guys through a gap, they'd all be grouped up together for the wizard tower to hit. So maybe if you do leave this wall here, put one hole in it, and then the wizard tower can smack into the hole. I would expect, though, most people who attack this base, I mean, it's a pretty damn good base. I'm not sure how I would attack it. My normal giant army with giants and healers, I would probably just skip it because this one air defense right here is very, very well protected. It's possible I could bust in with giants down here. They'd work their way down this way, then they'd kill this, and then they'd work their way through. And then they'd kill this, but that would probably take at least one heal spell to make them survive that long, maybe a rage spell as well. So that's good against my army composition at least. I'm not super familiar with tons of other high-level army compositions. I would say dragons, though, you don't have enough air defenses for them. So be sure to keep upgrading those air defenses. I know you did just reach 8 as well, but you probably won't be facing too many of those armies, though, with this trophy count. Overall, I do like the base. I'm liking it, yeah. I'm just trying to think how you could improve these storages. There's a lot of non-combat right in this giant central area. I feel like you probably should swap it up with a couple other defenses, just so your combat support is spread out. So maybe put this elixir storage down here and put the mortar in here. I know it makes the elixir more vulnerable, but I would personally rather have some elixir stolen than have all the elixir stolen if they 3-star you. Just trying to think, make your base stronger rather than protect every single bit more. Okay, guys, I do like this base, Agent Salamander. Good job. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, here we are with Moe's 8910. So, he does have a partially destroyed base, but nothing like learning from partial defeats, right, guys? I certainly think so, at least. So, what do we have going on here? I do like your mortars. They're high level and well placed in the center. I would guess that's what allowed you to survive this attack, actually. I'm not sure that I'm loving these walls right here. These 3 walls and these 3 walls, they don't do anything. They sort of look like funneling walls, but with no trap right here. It doesn't really help at all. You are at a low trophy count, and you mentioned in your message to me that you are farming, and I understand that. I would probably just kick out your town hall. There's no reason to keep it inside, and probably just invite people to do bigger attacks against you. One thing I'm not really liking is that you've got a whole ton of open space out here. I'm not sure what all these defenses were, but there's no reason they need to be so exposed. Once again, you're going for symmetry, I can tell. Like, this building is here. It's got one building on this side, one building on this side, mirror imaging, which means it's probably a gold storage. Yeah, certainly. Just tighten it up. Screw the symmetry. It would make your base a lot more defensible. It means you can pull the walls in more, too. It looks like you're doing like a little gap here. If there was one wider, archers could not shoot over it. Maybe you were trying to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't really do anything to help. Except make these defenses, or these resources, outside the walls. There we go. Make these buildings outside the walls even less protected by moving them farther away from the defenses, which obviously is not good. Beyond that, it looks like your base is a variant on the... There's a fairly common base that has the army camps on the bottom with the mortars or the cannons in between, so it looks like you're doing that sort of thing. I don't feel super strong either way about that. It's a decent base. Beyond that, I would probably try to focus your wall upgrading on doing some of the critical walls more than just doing every wall. So, I mean, you've got some purple walls up here, but like this corner should be purple, these critical corners should be purple, maybe right in here, these top points should be purple. Anywhere that you expect someone to break through to attack the defenses, so right next to the cannon on both sides. Probably right here, in this stretch right here, for the wizard tower and the archer tower, same thing right here, wizard tower and archer tower. The ones that are destroyed, that is, I'm talking about. Beyond that, looks like you haven't logged in for a while, so let's see. Yeah, you're maxed out. Never good to be maxed. You have not been online for, what is that, 20 hours? Yeah, 20 hours-ish. So yeah, I recommend you get online is my last tip for you. Thank you very much for submitting your base, Mose. Okay, here we are with Keelan, a level 7, Town Hall, once again. Looks like you also have a little bit of invasion issues to deal with, but don't worry about it too much. So, let's see, you do have a very unique base. I'll give you that for sure. I'm not sure how much I like all of its uniqueness, though. That was my chair, by the way. squeaking. I'm going to look at the top part just because it's obviously not destroyed and allows a little bit better analyzation. You have a lot of open space in between here. You can just tighten these up a lot. Don't need to have all these gold mines and elixirs within the walls. In fact, I would kick them out. The benefit of kicking them out is there's one large one. If you line them up right around the outside of your walls, then barbarians that attack will just like daisy chain from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, if they're close enough together. But they won't do that if there's a big enough gap and they realize, hey, after I attack this barracks, I'm not going to go to this barracks or this army camp. This one's actually closer, despite the fact it's through a wall. Just how the AI works. So if you need to give them enough targets, keep them outside, and they'll keep running around in circles. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about your base is something about this wall strategy. And this wall strategy, I mean, it seems like it's alright on surface, but there's some big issues with doing this. And namely, it's very inefficient. And you might not be able to realize how inefficient until I sort of point this out. So I'm going to use, for example, right over here on the left side. So you see how this wall zigzags down? Well, with this exact same amount of walls, you could extend the walls out to here and here. A straight, like, corner. Yeah, I'm not sure you believe me, but trust me, this is like the same number of wall segments that will go out to there. That shows how inefficient this is, because there's so much more space that could be in here. You could put like three by three buildings in here, it looks like, if you decided to use these walls to go out like this. Now, imagine if you did that for every time you got a zigzag wall, like this segment up here on top, this segment down here, segment right here. All of those would just have a ton more space inside. Ooh, little lag. Jitter. Okay, back again. Beyond that, let's see. Mortars, keep upgrading them for sure. Always good to keep them up. Elixir? You got a ton of elixir. I assume you're working on some research. I can't actually check that. But, if not, work in army camps or something? Oh yeah, definitely work in that army camp. I can't check what level your other ones are. Well, this one. Yeah, with this much elixir, it looks like you've got, almost a billion. Just upgrade this level 5 army camp. I know this one costs 750,000, $750,000. Great project to start it when you've just got the elixir to burn. I mean, I see you're also doing your lab, which will also help. You can throw some elixir as soon as that's done into projects. So, overall, there's a reason why weird bases probably are not the most popular. It's because they got some unusual things that make them weaker. I hope you'll listen to some of my advice, and in general, everyone can take some advice from this and learn how to place stuff around. Okay, let's go on to our next base. Okay, we got Steve here. Looks like you're well on your way to Town Hall 8, but that makes it a perfect time to review your Town Hall 7 base. Let's see now. I like your mortars up at a high level. Let's see, what level are those ones? Graphically, 4. Okay, could be higher, but it's alright. I definitely would like to see your clan castle inside the center. Especially the level 5 archers. That would be very, very beautiful to defend the inside of your base with. I'm not a huge fan of putting all of the elixirs and the golds in their own little compartments. I can think of a lot better uses for walls, such as buttress walls, funneling walls, and buffer walls. Buffer walls are sort of like what I was talking about before, where if you had left this space blank and put 2 spaces in between, well, I guess 1 space and then another wall, that'd be a buffer wall, because archers cannot shoot over that, so it doesn't allow them to attack in whatever area you put them in. Buttress walls are little pokey ones which soak up wall breaker hits, and funneling walls are just any wall that have like holes in them that allow enemies to flow through them and funnel them up for splash damage or bombs or traps. Let's see, moving on. I like that you upgraded your cannons to a very nice high level. Air defense, it's alright, it could be higher. Definitely could be higher. But it's in a good position though, so it's fairly well protected, which is nice. It would be very hard to get at them with mortars. One nice thing that you got going on is these archer towers up top. Did I say get at them with mortars? I mean giants. These archer towers at the top will do a great job of soaking up giants. So any giants placed anywhere around the top right side here, they'll come flowing in here and attack this archer tower. I hope you've got a spring trap right here, because that would be a beautiful spot for them, because the giants will come flowing around and hit this. Beyond that, I like this actually. I feel like I'm sort of surprised. It just looks sort of weird with all the walls being devoted to the storages. Like, I just think they could be done better, but I'm not sure exactly what that would be. I need to think about it for a little longer. One thing I don't like is the cannon in the middle here. I'd way rather see this mortar. Like, you see the range in this mortar? It comes all the way down here. There's no need for it to cover this much. It just makes it more vulnerable to archers, so I would swap this. Oop, little jitter. Yeah, I'd swap that with the cannon. I would also consider... I would probably do this for sure. Yeah, that's a good one. So these army camps, they got pretty good health, but they're too big. I'd much rather have a bunch of barracks and other buildings, such as the mines and collectors on bottom that aren't in the walls, lined up out here. That'll bring the units closer to the wall, especially for these wizard towers to hit them. Beyond that, yeah, I like it. Keep doing your walls. I might have delayed upgrading your town hall a little bit, or maybe you just started, so you'll have lots of time to throw gold into walls, but your walls could definitely use some love as well. I think my final tip is going to be just make sure your defense are along the wall. So this lab, you just move it in. Any other case of similar, like whatever you replace this with, move it in towards the walls. Okay, that's going to be it, guys, for this episode. So just a little bit of housekeeping stuff. If you would like your base to be featured in one of these future videos, please do a few things. 1. Like me on Facebook. 2. Be sure you're actually subscribed. 3. Don't apply in the comments. Apply in the link that's in the description. Yes, in the description of this video. If you can't find it there, because you're on mobile or something, the link can also be found on my channel page. It says, like, apply to be in the base review video or something like that. I can't really remember. Finally... thank you guys very much for watching. Hope this was informative and you learned a lot. Even if you weren't featured, there was a lot more of you who applied than I can possibly handle. You can also post a picture of your base to my Facebook, and I'll give you some tips on there. Or you can post it to the subreddit. There's a subreddit link to the Reddit board in the description. Just post it on there, and there's lots of helpful people, including myself, on there who will give you tips on how to improve your base. So that goes for everyone of all levels. Hope everyone found this entertaining, informative, and instructional. Have a great day, guys.